Hi, it's Stephanie. Um, I don't usually restart my videos once I start them. Um, I actually had a technical problem when I started this video and had to take care of a couple things. So I had a little bit of time this time to really think about what I wanted to say. Because trauma is not linear, my story won't be either. Um, Hopefully, by the time I get done telling it, which seems unimaginable to me, but hopefully, you'll be able to go back and put these in some sort of semblance of order, and you'll have like some story continuity. But even though my last video was about my second trauma, I'm going to jump way ahead because the trauma that is persistent in my mind and my life this morning is much more recent and to some extent more difficult to talk about, which is why I'm doing it. But as a warning, I do want to let you know that it's likely that I'll become more emotional during this video, and it might be a little bit longer. So, today I'm going to talk about music, actually, and the connection that is triggering me right now that I want to talk about. So, just to give it a good start, the trigger actually is positive. It's Lizzo and her recent Emmy win. I had heard of her prior to the Emmy Awards. I'd listened to her music. I thought she was pretty cool. I enjoy her. I just enjoy her. But after her Emmy win, it gave me impetus, and this is why representation is so important in award shows. It gave me the impetus to go seek out more information about her, about her television show, which I had not seen, and I am just starting to watch. Trigger. That's the trigger. In any event, her win made me research her as a human being, and I became a fangirl in my daughter's terms. I'm fangirl over her. I think she's pretty amazing. Makes me want to cry because to see someone so strong, so young, so beautiful, so talented, and so confident. That's what makes me want to cry. And it's actually part of the trigger. So, I'm going to try and tie this all together. But like I said, this will be a little bit longer. That's why I'm sitting instead of driving. But I am in my car because there's a safety in that. It's a trauma coping mechanism, my car. Anyway, we're going to get there, I promise. But to stick to the story today. So Lizzo, she's the trigger. What's the trauma? I've sort of mentioned in some of my videos, the people in my life actually know all this, but this is for those of you who don't. A few years ago in 2018, I lost my partner, and it was a very traumatic loss, and I'll talk about that in another video, but for the purposes today, it's just important to know that his loss was incredibly traumatic for me, and I had already experienced PTSD prior to his loss. I was already suffering with that disorder. And when I lost him, that the trauma of his loss only further complicated an already complex diagnosis and treatment, and disrupted the sense of stability, which, by the way, was very minimal anyway, that I had developed up until that point. So, as you can see, it really wasn't that long ago. 2018 was only 4 years ago. The anniversary of his passing just occurred in April this year. So, it was a difficult time. But the reason that it's connected to music is I am a musician. I have been most of my life. I'm not a professional musician. I don't go out into the world and perform. I used to. I have in different representations of my music, whether it's in bands in high school or when I was in choir and I would write songs and perform them at school events, or, you know, whether it was as a young musician, vocalist for my first high school band that did covers, or, you know, my first original band as an adult where we recorded some songs. And I just sort of have done all these iterations of my music. And I must say, my favorite musical experience, which was as a member of an acoustic quartet that did blues and roots music. That was actually my absolute favorite group I've ever been in. Wonderful musicians, but for me as a musician, it felt like the place I got to be the most authentic to who I am as a musician and what makes me feel connected to music. So, with all of that said, when I met my partner, as I said, I was already suffering with PTSD, and I was struggling with music. Music is when you're a musical person and you experience trauma. Unfortunately, music can be a trigger. That happened for me. So it was something that I was struggling with, and when I met my partner, prior to meeting him, I had never had a relationship with another musician. Believe it or not, not a solid, serious relationship, and I don't know why that was. That's a whole different psychological analysis. But when I met Jim, his name is Jim. When I met Jim, he was not a professional musician by any means either, but he actually wasn't even trained musically at all. He had discovered his talent quite naturally. He connected with the guitar and he taught himself how to play, and he learned how to pick out songs. He had a natural ear, which is a gift I don't have. He could tell you what chord it was by listening to the song, and I'll be damned if he wasn't right most of the time. So he was just an enigma to me. And we connected around music as musicians. It was literally, I think, one of the biggest connections we made as human beings that brought us together as a couple. I know outsiders, if you knew Jim and you knew me, we were not who you would have anticipated to be a couple. We were kind of an odd couple, but these were the things that people didn't understand about why we were a couple. There was this deep connection on a emotional level that I haven't really experienced with another person. So it was unique, and it was heavily bonding when that bond was dramatically severed. It had a lasting impact on me as a musician. This is why I said I might get a little emotional, because this isn't just about the trauma of losing Jim. This is also about the trauma of losing my connection to that part of myself. This inherent, deep part of myself. That was a singular experience. And a completely separate trauma. And one that I am struggling to move beyond. Jim was a wonderful man. And he was my friend. And he was my muse. So forgive me, it's difficult to talk about, but it happened. And I lost that part of me. I just couldn't get to it anymore. It was truly too painful to touch. And it's been 4 years. And when I watched the Emmys speech, I didn't watch the Emmys, but I watched the speech that Lizzo gave. And I felt moved to find that woman. Because when she said, when I was a little girl growing up, that she didn't see people who were fat like her, black like her, beautiful like her. And she had to be that for herself. I felt inspired, and I felt spoken to. I'm no Lizzo. But I am a musician. Even if I am only a musician for me. And I need to be that for myself. And I need to carry that beautiful piece of Jim with me into my music again. And let him continue to be my muse. gonna try and sing something actually. For me, I'm just gonna do a little bit. I'm gonna do it for me, and I don't care if it sounds good or not. I know it sounds good to God. That's all that matters to me. There's a mountain here before me. I'm gonna climb it with strength not my own. And he's gonna meet me where the mountain beats me and carry me through. Oh Lord, carry me through. You'll carry me through. Oh Lord, he's gonna carry me through. So Lizzo, wherever you are, woman, I can't thank you enough. And let me tell you, coming from Detroit, girl, I'm right next door in Ypsi. And I say thank you for all us big girls. We need you.